Hello everyone. So the moment has finally arrived when President Trump has taken oath to his office and the Trump 2.0 era has formally begun. Now, in my personal view, I feel that Trump 2.0 will be a much more decisive regime than what we have seen in his earlier tenure. And the main reason behind that is the fact that he has already done this before. He has already run his office. This time he has hit the ground running. And one can easily gauge from the amount, from the number of acts or number of decisions he's already taken in day one of his office. For example, the US citizenship bill for immigrants, then taking US out of the World Health Organization, and many more are to follow. Now, Trump's action in this particular tenure will be more decisive, as I rightfully mentioned earlier. Now, this will lead to two arch rivals coming closer to each other. And here I'm talking about India and our neighbor, China. Now, India and China have maintained a relationship of distrust ever since the War of 1962 and following regular border skirmishes which have occurred over time and Chinese forces encroaching upon Indian lands. And there are major disputes whether India sheltering the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan refugees in India to various other aspects of it. Now, if we look at further, China essentially supports its proxy state, which is Pakistan, whereas India also supports countries like Vietnam, Philippines, or Taiwan, which China claims as its own province. So, India maintains a very good relationship with all of these countries, which has a maritime dispute or territorial dispute with the People's Republic of China. But what Trump 2.0 will essentially do is that it will impose huge tariffs on both India and China, which will essentially make the China plus one strategy defunct in the new Trump 2.0 regime. So China plus one strategy is a case that got formulated during the COVID era, which means that wherever the supply chain are, so countries should not be over dependent just on China, and they should have an alternate route for any product that is getting imported, because China is a manufacturing hub of the world. They wanted China plus one, so plus one will be essentially any other country. So India essentially fit in very well in that regime, where India was directly competing with China in many other segments. There were also countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, which were also equally competing for that space in certain different categories. Now, what I feel is that Indian and Chinese political leadership will be much closer in the Trump 2.0 regime because we have a lot more to gain working together than working against each other. If I have to correlate that in economic terms, it's very similar to the Nash equilibrium case and a particular case of prisoner's dilemma. So, prisoner's dilemma is where the jailer essentially asks two prisoners as to who has committed the crime, and he tells them that if you admit to the crime, I will let you free and I will imprison the other prisoner if you tell that the other one has committed. So the prisoners, so if both of them deny, that both of them get out free. But if one of them blames the other, then and the same is followed by the other prisoner as well, then both of them end up in prison. So out here, the Indian and the Chinese leadership will essentially be facing the same prisoner's dilemma under the Trump 2.0 regime. So if they both work together, they can work it out together. We are both consumption-driven economies. We are both growing at a significant rate, and probably it is my assumption or my analysis. I feel that India and China will have a much more closer relationship in Trump 2.0 because no one really knows what his future policies will be, what additional tariffs will be. So India and China will have closer relationships. There will be further rounds of border talks, and it is quite possible that in this tenure of Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping, a lot of border disputes will get settled between India and China, and we might finally have an international border which is acceptable to both sides. Having said that, I think there's a lot more to look at Trump 2.0, and I will come up with a much more detailed analysis of his policies and what it means for India in my coming episodes. See you, and thank you so much for watching this. And do subscribe, share, and like, and post your views in the comments. I need all your support to help this channel grow. And thank you once again for watching it and being a loyal subscriber to the channel. Thank you.